Guys, you need to watch this clip of a man taking hostage of a live news reporting team. He makes them read out a message warning us about something that's going to happen in the future.
Because, you know, one of the nicest things about shopping by mail order... Pardon me? What is this? Folks, we have someone on the set who's standing here and would like me to read. I was warned in 1981 by someone with connections at the CIA to stay off the computers, that they didn't trust people on computers. When I began receiving disturbing calls from my parents, which led me to believe that something terrible was going on.
So we've all seen the rapid advancement of artificial technology. Some of the things that this stuff can do now is crazy. It's almost making humans feel obsolete. How much power and control we're giving these things and how much we are beginning to rely on them. These things are learning our characters when we're asking them questions daily. It's some strange scale.
You all think his photo collection of abandoned shoes is just a cute hobby. Listen to what he says right here. This old clip has just resurfaced and everyone is asking exactly what it means. He sat there on live TV casually talking about shoes to make mashed potatoes. But if you look at his past film roles, his social media history and the weird descriptions floating around online, people are pointing out a much darker pattern. I'm not saying what it is, but listen to the exact language in this clip.
Sacrifice one shoe a year. Now you laugh, but it makes some damn fine mashed potatoes.
Sure. Well, how do you do it?
I use my shoe. Just get in there and sacrifice one shoe a year.
They tell us it's just a harmless joke, just a coincidence. But when you stack up the movies, the strange vocabulary, and the deep dives into Hollywood hidden language, it makes you wonder what else is hiding in plain sight. I'll let the comments do the talking on this one.
The Secret Service were forced to hide Donald Trump in a catering truck. That's according to a new investigation by the Washington Post, where they detail how Trump had to secretly swap planes after the NATO summit in Turkey last month. They say that due to a possible assassination attempt by Iran threatening to fire a missile at Air Force One, they essentially had to play a ball and cup game with the president. At about 8:24 p.m., he's seen stepping on board Air Force One. But minutes later, a catering truck arrives next to the plane, elevated and positioned out of view of the cameras. And that is the moment where Trump secretly exited Air Force One and was smuggled onto a smaller military aircraft nearby. Trump then flew in this plane to the UK, and after landing, he secretly reboarded Air Force One and was seen descending from the aircraft. In fact, they did it so smoothly that journalists and even White House staff didn't know he wasn't there. Well, I guess.
We don't have an epidemic of mental illness, we have an epidemic of psychiatry. You eat too much, it's a disease, it's an addiction. You smoke too much, it's a disease. You are too unhappy, it's a disease. You're too thin, it's a disease. You're too fat, it's a disease. You have too little sex, it's a disease. You have too much sex, it's a disease. No free will, it's all chemicals. No self-discipline, no self-control. A chemical imbalance meshes very well with the idea that you give a drug which restores the balance. It's a story, a mythology, a fable. The child doesn't perform the way he should or behaves he should. He is not responsible. Some chemical will give him a chemical. You hear day in and day out on television that this is a mental illness and that's a mental illness. And Zoloft is advertised. Beer you can't advertise, but Zoloft you can advertise. Now it's not just psychiatry. It's a whole psychiatrization of the culture. Now what's more toxic, Zoloft or beer? Amen. Case closed. Psychiatrists are getting more and further and further and further away from this human-to-human touch. And they are becoming more and more quacks. They talk and act and impersonate doctors. They talk about diagnoses and treatments and the brain and all this kind of stuff about which they know nothing. Zero. It's not science. It's politics and economics. That's what psychiatry is. Politics and economics. Behavior control. It is not science, it is not medicine.
I hate the noise, but it still baffles my mind how many people are still in a coffee shop going, "Did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? Did you hear about this? Did you see what's going on here? Did you hear what's going on there? You're not going to believe what might happen. Tell me what might happen again." I sat and had coffee, and the guy's like, I don't know if you heard, but one of my friends was brought in by the government, and he was a big guy that worked in Michigan and GM, and they're talking about China may taking over Taiwan. Oh, really? Is that what's going on? Gee, they've been writing that script for 30, 40 years now. Hey, everybody, China's taking out Taiwan. I can't believe he's speaking like this. Hey, Jim, stay in your lane. I am. Go watch the ball game.
Money means one eye. Mon comes from mono, which means single, alone, or one. EY means eye. The one eye is a symbol of God. Money has become people's gods.
If you're watching this video right now and you're somebody that uses Discord, your messages, your voice chats, and your entire history is literally being sold to law enforcement and AI. And obviously nobody told you because I'm telling you right now. So there's a company that's called SpyPet that was caught scraping data from over 620 million different Discord users across 14,000 different servers. So obviously that's a big number because this is a big deal. We're talking about 3 billion messages collected, archived, and put up for sale. And by the way, it only costs $5 in crypto to look up anybody you want and get all of their information. They're saying that not only your messages, your voice activity, what servers you're in, what you said, and when you said it, literally all of it is available to anybody that's willing to pay, which you'd be surprised at who would want to. And they're saying that SpyPet actually had an enterprise model specifically marketed to law enforcement and agencies and AI companies for training their model. So using all of your personal Discord data to make AI better. Discord has now officially stated that they've shut down SpyPet, but it doesn't matter because the data's already out there, obviously. I don't think it matters that you already did something and now you're just not gonna do it again.
It's what you make it. It's whatever herbs you roll it in, and oils and prayers you put into it, or curses, you know, whatever the case may be. And you don't really even need the candle. The candle it's a tool, just like tarot cards and stuff. The work we do comes from within.
So talk to me about that first time you lit the candle. What was your intent behind it?
I don't remember. I remember the situation or the scenario.
Yeah.
I could see it, but I don't remember what my intent was. And who knows? Because I was a wild child. I probably put a curse on my babysitter that I didn't like. Because the bitch kept getting drunk at our house.
Y'all babysitters, be careful out there.
What?
At any point in time, did any of the spiritual stuff, even like candle work, did it scare you?
Never.
It never scared you?
And I've been through some terrifying shit.
You think that's because you were already, it's just in your DNA, it's in your blood in a sense?
Oh, for sure. 100%.
So?
I don't think I was put here for any other...
You know the crazy part? You know they was in Antarctica. I heard you bring it up earlier. They found the body in Antarctica, right? Heard the crazy thing about the body? It had full skin, everything. It was 5,000 years old. And it had everything was still intact, it had everything. And this is what they said. They said they found living organisms in it. Like if they unthawed it, that it'll probably come back to life.
Now, this is why.
What the fuck is this that they found? And now you can't find it online, can't see it nowhere no more.
Because they do expeditions to Antarctica. Some of those videos, everything is green. It's not no damn ice on the whole part. And Admiral Byrd said there's more land past the continent of Antarctica.
Right.
Now, I've spoken to several people that work in the military.
Right.
They speak about something called Agartha.
Agartha.
Did you guys know one of the biggest mysteries in Antarctica was this giant egg that nobody knew what it came from? So in 2011, there was these scientists that discovered this old fossil in Antarctica that looked like a deflated football. For nearly a decade, it sat in an unlabeled and unstudied part of Chile's National Museum of Natural History, with scientists only referring to it by its nickname from a sci-fi movie, The Thing. Eventually, researchers from a museum in Texas discovered that this fossil was a giant giant hatched soft-shell egg from about 68 million years ago. At more than 11 by 7 inches, this was the largest soft-shell egg ever discovered, and actually the second largest egg in the world from any known animal, the first being the extinct elephant bird. And so the animal that produced this egg would have had to be at least 23 feet long, not counting its tail. The most likely animal that they think this came from is a mosasaur. The rock formation where this egg was discovered hosts skeletons from baby mosasaur and plesiosaur along with other adult specimens. However, before this, mosasaurs were thought to give live birth instead of laying eggs. But apparently both can be true like at the same time, as they are thought to instantly hatch as soon as they left the mother, which is so crazy. It's such a crazy animal. It potentially lays eggs. It has a second set of teeth on the roof of its mouth like a snake, and it had to surface like a whale to breathe air. And overall, it's just crazy that we had a predator like this in the ocean.
The sun is local and much smaller than we've been told. It's a divine luminary that provides life to us all, not a random ball of gas 93 million miles away. They've convinced you the sun is 400 times larger than the moon despite appearing identical in size, seeing them at the same time in the day. And in reality, they're complementary opposites. They both follow the same path, rotating above us just as your senses perceive. They are what moves, not the ground beneath our feet. Triangulation itself is geometric proof of a local sun. It allows us to determine the distance of an object as depicted here above. The angles and distance between the reference points on the ground are all you need to understand that it's not millions of miles away. It's impossible for the sun to be millions of miles in diameter, or else we'd never see such dramatic changes in its size either. And the sun doesn't go over the horizon, or what we call a sunset. It simply leaves your field of perspective. We also see that the temperature of direct moonlight is cooler than the temperature of shade itself, thus further proving that these two luminaries are unique and opposite in nature. It also undercuts NASA's claims that the moon reflects the sun's light, as a spherical body can never reflect light in the same manner. Beyond the multiple examples in the Bible, Quran, and Vedas, and many other ancient texts clearly stating our world is unique, stable, immovable, it's obvious to every sober-minded child and adult that the sun, moon, and stars, and planets, and every other light in the sky are what revolve over us. The sun tells the time, the moon tells the days, and the stars tell what month it is. A perfectly designed timepiece. It's imperative to those who represent evil itself to sever our connection with the Creator. Wake up. You live in the mind of God.
There's 30,000 deer on this one island.
That many?
30,000. And there's 3,000 people. You get your binoculars out, and you look at this huge field, and you're like, oh my God.
Just all
You'll
deer.
see 1,000.
Oh, you're kidding.
No,
Wow.
it's crazy. It's so unnatural. No predators, only humans, plenty of food.
Yeah.
And they're damn delicious.
Right, I have heard that before.
For people who live there, it's amazing. You don't have to have much money to eat really well. You get a rifle, you go out there, bang, you got a deer, and you can shoot as many as you.
I asked Charlie Kirk investigator Baron Coleman flat out, when did the official story about Charlie Kirk's assassination stop making sense to you?
It wasn't initially a question of mine until YouTubers who are the sniper experts and the Green Berets are getting out there and they're like, well, let's recreate the shot. And they keep taking this shot over and over and over. And I watch hundreds or thousands of rounds go through this, and nobody can replicate the shot. Nobody can get it to stop at all inside of anything. As I'm watching it, I'm thinking, man, maybe he wasn't shot with a 30-06. Maybe it was another gun from another location. Maybe it was a lower caliber round from a different angle. As if you look at where it entered the neck, it was kind of the left side of the neck, well left of the Adam's apple. And Martinson did a good job. He put up a slice of a neck and he showed an arrow going right through it. And it's nowhere near the vertebra. You just put it all together and you start looking at it and you say, if it was rare, if 1 out of 1,000 shots that these guys were trying to replicate could have stopped inside of something, or some number greater than 0, you start to look at it and say, hey, maybe this was just a really rare occurrence. And at the time, we didn't know what kind of round it was. We know all that now. And I think it's even less likely. Science is replication. If you can't replicate something, it's not science, it's a guess. The science is being able to say, here, let's reproduce it. It's irreproducible.
Okay, so we have a new scandal here in Austria. A little girl, underaged, she jumped out of a window out of fear because the social workers were coming to pick her up and bring her to another facility, another care facility. And this girl was known to be traumatized and known to be afraid of men. But due to an employee scarcity, they said the only person that they can send was a man. And not just any man, but a man who had a dermal anchor on his forehead, which is 2 black devil horns coming out of his forehead. And in the middle of his forehead, he has a pentagram tattoo. the girl was very afraid and said she is not coming with him. She literally said, "Before I go with you, I would rather die." This man then threatened her and said, "If you don't go voluntarily, I will make you go." And that's the point where she jumped out of the window. She then was rushed to the hospital, so she is still alive, but she is badly hurt with multiple fractures in her arms and legs. So that is what we're talking about. And the internet being the internet, they found out which social worker that was. His picture is actually on the internet. If you look at the homepage of this specific group, you can see him in the team section. And yes, he is tattooed all over. He does have the pentagram tattoo on his forehead. He does have the dermal anchor, which is 2 black horns coming out of his forehead. And yes, I wouldn't have gone with him either. Now what? My question is, if you want to become a stewardess, you're not even allowed to have any visible tattoos or piercings. Then why? If you're working in an environment where you have to be trauma sensitive, you dress up like the devil himself and you go pick up a little girl that is afraid. Why do you do that? I have looked at the logo of this specific facility where this man is working, and the logo is Lucifer, which is a person with horns that has angel wings, and this person holds 2 kids by the hands. That is the logo of this organization. Now, the entire thing is giving creepy vibes. It's giving CSA, and the country is a bit in shock. Okay, it's like shell shock. We're basically, nobody knows what exactly to do or what to say. So we're a bit frozen at the moment. That's how I can feel it in the field.
But if I were to pick out one thing that we as a nation are not doing optimally, it's the extraordinary situation where you have a highly effective vaccine that is very safe, and you have 50 million people in the country who refuse to get vaccinated, many of which are motivated purely by differences in political ideology, which is really unacceptable when you're in the middle of a deadly outbreak. If there ever was a time when you wanted the nation to focus on fighting the common enemy, and the common enemy is the virus, not ourselves, it is really extraordinary that we are having interference with public health principles for reasons that have nothing to do with public health.
82 communities in 28 different states have officially ended their contract or agreement with Flock Safety. You know, the automated license plate reader? Yeah, them. Places like LAPD and the city of Las Vegas have officially ended their agreement. So talking about it, showing up to your city council meetings, it's making a real impact. But before you think it's a victory, something else is replacing it. Yeah, they're called Axon. Axon is the major supplier for like the police body cams. They also do dashboard cameras. They have ground robots. They have drones. They have all of the things. But apparently they don't have that national database like Flock did. So it should be a lot harder to like hack into it or to spy on other people like the cops were doing with the Flock system. So there's that.
Oral health care is important to your whole body functioning. This is why we switched to homemade coconut oil toothpaste and ditched the store's toxic toothpaste. You're going to use 1/4 of organic extra virgin coconut oil, baking soda, 2 teaspoons. I recommend using a really good quality salt, so I use Redmond's real salt, and you're going to do 1 teaspoon of that, mix it all together, put it in a glass jar, and it'll last for about 3 weeks, and you will be amazed with the results.
Y'all, this is one of the most well-documented hauntings I've ever seen. It's on this Spanish TikTok channel. This woman is documenting her haunting, and she said that she has been haunted by this ghost since she was a child. And she comes with receipts, because almost all of her childhood photos, this ghost is standing next to her. And she has a lot of pictures of it. She said when she was growing up, she had an imaginary friend that was a little girl. And it turns out that this imaginary friend wasn't so imaginary. You can see it right here. She said since she was old enough to speak, her parents said that she talked about this imaginary friend. And in her old photos of her growing up, it's always standing right next to her. Now, I know it's pretty well known that children and animals, because of their innocence, can see ghosts. But instead of her growing out of seeing this spirit, it went from being friendly to scaring her as an adult. And it still consistently haunts her. And in some of these photos, it is so clear to see this ghost. I mean, it is right there, staring right at her. I mean, this is actually just insane that she has so much documentation on this ghost that is currently haunting her in her adulthood. And it's been with her her entire life. Look at it, looking at her right there. What do you guys think of this?
In Texas, a Pasadena police sergeant resigned after allegations that he used flock camera data to stalk a female colleague rather than for legitimate law enforcement purposes. The camera didn't decide to misuse the information. A person did.
What's a conspiracy theory that you believe in? I'm asking both of you.
A conspiracy theory that I believe in? Well, okay, it's not a conspiracy theory.
Okay.
Okay. And, but I have long been on this UAP thing.
Okay.
And now, I've sort of surrendered that portfolio to someone else who you know well, who's very much in charge of the UAP issue. Again, it's not, what I say is, I don't know who it is, I don't know what it is, but there are things flying over our military installation and they're not ours, and we should look into this, be serious about it. And I did that for a long time in the Senate, and it had 2 benefits. The first is that obviously it's a legitimate topic, and the second is, whatever the news of the day was, it was controversial, and a reporter comes up to you, and you say to them, look, I don't have time for these questions about politics. Do you realize there's things flying over airspace? We don't know what they are. And the reporter's like, oh, what do you know? Tell me more. So it was extraordinarily effective as a diversionary tactic in addition to. Now that said, it's also a very legitimate topic that we should be covering. So I don't call it a conspiracy. I don't know the answer to any of it. I'm just, asking the questions about, we should know what's flying over our airspace. But I don't think that's a conspiracy theory as much as it is just, it can be in some sense because people do believe we're covering something up. And I assure you, like in this administration, if we knew, like the president would be all over it. Like there would be, prime time address. He would, he'd be showing the pictures and the videos. But, Stephen's on that case now, and I think he's doing a great job.
About half the public schools in America are secretly giving your kid a risk score, a number used to predict how likely they are to hurt themselves or commit a crime. The company is called Go Guardian, and it runs on the school Google account your kid signs into. Here's the part that most parents miss. It doesn't clock out at 3 p.m. As long as your kid is logged into that school profile, it's watching. That means in class, on the bus, and even on the couch at home at 9 at night. It logs their searches, their location, everything they type, and then it pours it all into a profile with the score attached. A kid followed everywhere, graded on the odds that they'll do something wrong, and most of the time, the kid isn't even told about it. Minority Report imagined a world that arrested you for a crime that you haven't committed yet, based off a prediction. We built a softer version of that, and then pointed it at 12-year-olds. Companies like this are the exact motivation behind the project I'm building called Paranoia. It scores every company you use based off of how much of your privacy and data they give away, the fine print you agree to but never read, and it's all backed up with the receipts to prove it in just one place. You can check it out through the link in my bio, but as always, think about it, let me know what you think, and follow me.
Peace, I'm your boy, Young Drug. You don't only know this is serious. I'm not that simple right now.
What happened to young Pharaoh? What happened to young Pharaoh, and what is he doing with his fingernails, bro? People are saying they got him. We might not see the real Pharaoh ever again, allegedly. I'm not sure what's going on with this guy, but he used to never do this. Not saying there's anything wrong with this, but he used to never do this. I don't know, bro. I guess he's at Chipotle getting the spicy bowl. Shut up! It's not a game on you guys. They got young Pharaoh. I used to watch his videos all the time, allegedly, but this is the same person, guys. Come on, everybody switches up. I don't know why he has these nails on. Now, I'm not sure if he went to the nail salon, guys, or if he did this at home. Shut up! This is ridiculous, bro. No, I'm just playing around, guys. Entertainment purposes only. Shots of young Pharaoh. You know what I mean? He's just playing around. He's probably just trolling us. It's all good, guys. Nothing to worry about. Remember, this guy is very wise. I don't know what's going on with young Pharaoh anymore. Let me know if you know what's going on with him. I'm out.
This video from the International Space Station over the Nile River has many people perplexed. And it's not because the solar panel here on the satellite is curved. If you took a ruler to it, it is curved. That's apparently because it is a fisheye lens. So we're looking a little bit more curvy. But the weird part, which many people are noticing, if you go over to Google Earth and zoom in on the Nile River, and you zoom in close enough that you can make it go into 3D, so you're not coming from directly above, but you can go on an angle, it's seemingly quite difficult to match the orientation that this satellite, allegedly pretty high up and spinning pretty quickly, was able to obtain. You see how big this thing is, this spinning ball we're on, but it looked like they were pretty either low or the camera was super zoomed in. Now, of course, many people will say it's just the perspective, man, like they're far up there, there's a bit of an extra curve going on. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm really buying this. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think this is genuinely legit from a satellite flying around hurtling in space action? Because there's space, right? Surely you believe. And there's a rover on Mars too. Like, we can agree on that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for.
Now, the inner Earth is the land past Antarctica,
right,
that they call Agartha.
Mm-hmm.
I have a video of a lady who says she walked into her post at her military base. She seen the tech working on the screen. It had all our continents, and then it had Agartha.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "What? Wow!" He said, "Oh my God!" They told her she had to sign an NDA for 10 years, so it just expired. So she want to tell her story. I'm not getting out in front of that.
That's why you hesitated?
I'm not getting out in front of that.
That's why you hesitated?
I gave you alley-oop, sweetheart.
I knew you hesitated for a reason. I knew it.
Bro, like, I got enough enemies, I got no problems, but I did take an oath, you feel me? I'm going to continue to raise the atmospheric pressure and the thoughts of my people. And we got to question everything, because I got photos of the poles where it's a giant hole in.
Out of nowhere, in the darkness, I hear, "Get out of my house," in like a deep man voice. And she starts attacking my friend. So that night, I had my homegirl come over and I was like, "Hey, I have stuff to do tomorrow. Do you think that you could just be here with her while I'm out and I'm going to be back by the afternoon?" It's 5 a.m. and I'm in the bathroom getting ready. My homegirl knocks on the door and my boyfriend is standing like in between the door. So my friend, she is Scorpio. She pretty gangster. So she was just like, "Girl, back up off of me." So my boyfriend is standing in between trying to get them apart, and he says her face looks different. He's like, "I don't know who that is," but he's freaking out. Like, he started grabbing on his heart. I'm like, "Oh my God, this is really like The Exorcist. Like, what's going on?" So I get my homegirl out to the balcony and she's out in the living room. She somehow gets past him and she runs to the balcony and she basically has my friend like pushed over. Like, she could have pushed her off of the balcony. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, "Get her."
yourself ahead of LeBron team standpoint? Would you put yourself ahead of LeBron as a team standpoint? My success as a team is more successful than LeBron. I got 6 rings.
LeBron could never.
And I want to find an all-around player to be my number one. You think the average owner is going to pick you or LeBron? I don't know. Got it. Okay. So that, if an individual claims can't say you won championships. Because I didn't change mine.
To be honest with you, you can't compare the two. Scottie Pippen was playing when it was less scripted. LeBron came in the game when the script was activated. You know what time is it, bro? They're not in the same category at all. Scottie was running with Jordan, right? LeBron wants to be like Jordan and Kobe. There is no comparison, bro. Let's not forget LeBron be throwing himself on the floor, allegedly. Shut up! LeBron be acting like somebody's always hurting him on the court. Somebody will walk past him and he'll go flying on the floor. There's no way you could compare him to Scottie. Let's not forget that LeBron James looked up to the OGs in the NBA because they were playing before the script was activated. Ever since those apps came out, James came out, and then funny things started happening, and then people started saying things, and then everything started coming out. And plus, Scottie Pippen's jersey number is very interesting. And James is rocking Jordan's number. Why? Because Jordan's not playing no more. He must continue to follow the script. I just playing around, guys. Entertainment purposes only. I don't think LeBron should even be mentioned in the same sentence with Scottie Pippen or Michael Jordan. Straight up and down, bro. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. Let me know if you know anything about this. I'm out.
On Thursday, the United States formally withdrew from the World Health Organization. We made this decision to reclaim our independence, to protect American sovereignty, and to free our public health policy from a system that no longer serves the American people. The World Health Organization has lost its way. It's drifted far from its founding mission, and it's become mired in bureaucracy, in conflicts of interest, and in international power politics. During the COVID pandemic, those failures weren't just abstract, they were deadly. The world watched as transparency collapsed, accountability disappeared, and ordinary citizens paid the price.
The cyclospora parasite that's causing explosive diarrhea just claimed the lives of 2 people in Michigan. They're saying that the cause of these deaths came from dehydration and previous health complications. And if you don't remember, this parasite is a food-borne parasite that spread through multiple states during July. And if 2 people just passed away, that means this parasite is still alive and well. So these are the foods that they told us in the beginning to stay away from. Any pre-made salad mixes, berries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, broccoli. And you know a lot of people love berries, and you know a lot of people eat broccoli. But at this point, we don't know if it's safe to eat these things. They also told us to stay away from fresh herbs, basil, parsley, cilantro. Mind you, they also said that one of the reasons that this parasite spread was because of Taco Bell. So you have to be mindful when you're eating that type of food. They're also saying that you should overcook your meat. Well done meat might be the best meat right now. So for the people that were saying that well done meat ain't good, they're saying that well done meat might be the way to go right now. Also, if you're eating eggs, they're saying that you should make your eggs well done. So that means you need to hard cook your eggs. We were also told that this parasite can last from 2 days to 2 weeks, maybe even a month. And the side effects of this parasite: dehydration, rapid weight loss, stomach pain, and of course, explosive diarrhea. So be mindful and be safe. And let me know in the comment section if you experienced anything.
Domestic violence is a grisly topic, but it happens, so it should be talked about openly. The ABC loves to headline these kinds of stories. Take this recent one, for example. Former Darwin councillor Paul Arnold sentenced to home detention over serious domestic violence offences. He didn't kill anybody, but it certainly made top-tier news on our national broadcaster. Naturally, the article is littered with the familiar framing: a string of domestic violence offences, a string of domestic violence charges, aggravated stalking and breaching a domestic violence order, a serious example of domestic violence. And, despite being educated and strong, domestic violence happened to me. You get the idea. Don't worry, he's been ordered to complete a men's behavioural change program. Clearly, his gender is the issue here. In another recent article about Melbourne mum Brooke Stevens, who was allegedly murdered by her partner, they hammer home the exact same beat. Attendees share concerns about domestic violence. Domestic and family violence is a continuing epidemic. Violence against women, femicide, public awareness about domestic violence, and related topics, domestic violence. But look at this piece about former Beauty and the Geek contestant Tamika Chesser. Tamika Chesser pleads not guilty to murdering and destroying remains of Julian Story. Suddenly, the domestic violence narrative miraculously evaporates. The details are every bit as grisly. Ms. Chesser stands accused of murdering her partner, Julian Story, and dismembering his body. The 39-year-old's head was eventually found by a member of the public in Scrubland. She has pleaded not guilty, flagged a potential mental health defence, and is currently housed in a secure forensic mental health facility. Yet, strangely, there is not a single mention of domestic violence, even though that is explicitly what a partner homicide is. In the article about the former counsellor, the ABC generously provides all the standard family and domestic violence support hotlines. In the piece about the murdered mother, all the domestic violence numbers are attached as standard protocol. But when poor Mr. Story literally loses his head and is dismembered by his partner, not only is there zero mention of domestic violence, there isn't a single domestic violence hotline listed at the bottom of the page. To be fair, they did include a content warning. This story contains content some readers may find distressing. How thoughtful. The editorial standard from our taxpayer-funded broadcaster is clear. When a woman is the victim, it's a national domestic violence epidemic. But when a man is dismembered by his female partner, it's not domestic violence. It's just a tragic, isolated mystery where a bloke happens to lose his head. He just had the misfortune of being the wrong gender to warrant a helpline number.
Fetuses aren't human beings. They haven't been birthed. They aren't alive. They aren't actually. So if they're not alive, they're potential. That's like saying my sperm is a human being and me jerking off is a bad thing.
It's like conception. When sperm meets egg.
So why don't we call our? So why am I not old? So why am I not 9 months older than I am? If I was an actual human being the second I was conceived.
What?
Why don't we call it our birthday?
Because that's the day you were birthed. Not the day you came alive.
Born.
Not the day you came alive. That's the time you were birthed.
So this is just a difference. You haven't even seen the world yet. You haven't even opened your eyes.
And your opinion is ugly as hell. I've got a bunch of passing pick-me trans people up in my comments right now telling me that I'm making society a worse place to us all by being myself and sharing my experience. Let me tell you, you are privileged as hell to be passing. Not all of us want to be living up to society's expectations of gender norms and beauty standards. Besides, there's more to beauty than appearance. It's also about opinion, and your opinion is ugly as hell. I've got a bunch of passing pick-me trans people.
Why do they always say the truth, y'all? Like the video and check this out.
There they are. Hi, guys.
Uh-oh.
It's interesting. To look at them, you'd never know they're cannibals. They look just like two normal people.
No, I did not
Oh
know that. That's
my
why
God.
nobody's telling people that on national television. You've raised him well. You're so proud of him right now.
I had a sister once.
Why did they say that kind of stuff, y'all? It's supposed, and then they laugh it off. Oh, it's supposed to be. It's just a joke. Who jokes about that?
So Sony just announced that they are getting rid of 551 movies on their user library. That means any movie that you downloaded, any movie that you paid for, if it's one of those 551 movies, it's going to be gone. And this is taking effect September 1st, 2026. Do you know what that means? If you bought any of those films on PlayStation, you must have thought you had the rights, right? Well, that means you don't have the rights. That means it's gone. And this is like the same thing Sony is doing, saying that they're not making physical discs anymore. This means you won't own anything anymore. They want everything to be digital. But you know what that means, right? That means they have the power to take everything away. And you're going to have somebody say, well, digital is better. Physical items take up too much space. That's not the point. This means that you will never own certain things again. This means if they want to take it away from you, they can take it away from you. Which means music might be next. They're already destroying books. And you're not able to do nothing about it. Because all of this is going to be digital. So starting September 1st, 2026, Sony is going to own everything you pay for. I bet you hear me now, right? Same thing with Prime. Same thing with Netflix. Same thing with Tubi. We don't own anything. You paying attention, right?
This dark humanoid figure was allegedly caught hovering over the mountains of Peru. And I'm not gonna lie, the longer that you look at this, the creepier that it gets. Somebody looks up during what appears to be a stormy day and notices a dark figure suspending in the sky. Whatever this shit is, doesn't immediately look like any bird. It almost looks like somebody wearing a long black cloak, just floating there watching everything below. Stories throughout South America have talked about strange beings hovering in the sky, sometimes being viewed as spirits, messengers, or even warnings before something major happens. But of course, this could easily be a fabric caught in the sky. If you looked up and saw this hovering in the mountains, what would you think it was?
You better cancel your plans for tomorrow night because we're about to see some wild shit in the sky. Not only will there be a total solar eclipse, but also a meteor shower. And this is going to be a neck breaker because experts are already describing it as the perfect cosmic coincidence. Now, if you live in any of these countries, you'll be able to see a total solar eclipse tomorrow, the 12th of August. But if not, don't worry, because if you're in any of these regions, you will also experience an eclipse between 88 and 96%. Pretty damn good. Just don't go blind. Buy glasses. And just to top it off, later that evening, the Perseids meteor shower reaches its peak, meaning you could see about 100 meteors per hour. You're welcome for the literal heads up.
What was this 1877 book saying about vaccinations? This is Smedley's Practical Hydropathy. At the present time, when smallpox is destroying in London alone upwards of 200 people weekly, it becomes a duty of every lover of truth and of his country to expose the utter uselessness of that detestable and unnatural practice which the people have been misled to regard as sure protection, namely vaccination. That it is such a protection is only a groundless assertion of Jenner, who was the origination of vaccines. A well-meaning but mistaken theorist whose erroneous views have been severely followed by a profession which prides itself on its learning and superior scientific attainments. There can be no excuse for medical men of the present day continuing the practice, seeing that a vast amount of facts have been accumulating year after year, and in various countries showing that it really has no influence in preventing smallpox. So he was curing people with smallpox using just cold water, and his technique was called the wet pack, which is about basically wrapping the body in wet towels and then wrapping that in warm towels, and this expectoration of the skin is what kind of cures the smallpox. What becomes of the mendacious assertion of Jenner that one vaccination protects you for life, or of the equally false dictum of his modern disciples that twice vaccinated you are doubly protected, when we find at the present moment here and in Paris hundreds dying of smallpox who have been vaccinated, some once, others more than once? How come is that 80 out of every 100 admitted into the smallpox hospital and not less than 94 out of every 100 at the Hotel You and other hospitals of Paris have been vaccinated. He then goes on to say, thousands of infant lives have been sacrificed at the altar of this modern Moloch, and infanticide has therefore been legalized amongst us. If vaccination were abolished tomorrow, it would take generations to eradicate the mischief it has caused in the physical deterioration of health of the nation. This is mind-blowing. This is 1877.
Are you familiar with the CE5 protocol? No. Okay, Stephen Greer, what happened to him, he was actually contacted by these things very young. He had a near-death experience. He was taken up into a craft, and a couple of these entities, they meditated together. They developed the CE5 protocol. And the CE5 protocol is human-initiated contact to non-human intelligence. So you are going through meditation to reach out your consciousness to get these things to show up. Now, why is this dangerous? You're popping your head in the spirit world saying, hey, contact me. But here's what everybody's missed. Jesse Michaels on American Alchemy, when he was discussing Jake Barber's book, Sentinels of Ether, 4 weeks ago, that's at 900,000 views. And in that YouTube video, he walks you through the steps of how to do it. Then he actually says, hey guys, this is inherent to us as humans. What the government's been trying to hide, it's in you.
It's crazy how it's sneaking in like that though, because it's not like Christians, they can see like the old plain stuff, like the occultism and like aliens. Like, oh, it's such a foreign.
That's because we as Christians, in our day-to-day, we live like naturalistic atheists. We act as if these entities, those that are loyal to God of the Bible and those that are hostile, that's ancient history. Please show me in the text where these things stop.
Tim Burton was involved, but the cast and I used to laugh about it. Like, wow, this is an insane shoot for it to really not be acknowledged. I can't stand to watch myself. I saw part of the first episode, had a mental breakdown, called my friend Matt. I was like, it's up. Like, okay, here we go.
I have seen so many people in the comments of these videos asking what has happened to Jenna Ortega, but this has been going on for better part of a year and a half now. I've seen a lot of people blaming her boyfriend, but again, we're seeing this in other artists as well, just like Ariana Grande. I began seeing a major transformation in Jenna Ortega after she starred in Wednesday Addams 2. How she was showing up to her premieres looking absolutely unrecognizable to me. Again, how she showed up to her premiere in London, it's like, what is happening here? When we look at pictures of her from the past, there is a lot of life in her eyes. There is joy, there is light, but now, every single premiere and interview I have seen of her thereafter, there is this darkness there. She literally looks 20, 30 years older than she actually is. Even when she was channeling Death Becomes Her, there was just like this alter ego appearing. I mean, really, how are we going from this to this? What's happening? I know a lot of you in my comments are going to say she's aging. It's just her getting older. But let's not forget, this was literally her on March 2nd, 2025 at the Vanity Fair red carpet. And we're going from this to this. And everybody says it's just aging. I am not sure what's going on with Jenna Ortega or what has got a hold of her. And maybe it's something that she can't remember if you go back to old posts. But I will say, something has changed about her even since filming Wednesday Addams 2. And I will say, I got very weird vibes the day she showed up with metal rulers at the Met Gala. But I want to know your guys' opinion. What has happened to Jenna Ortega?
Everything. I remember they had black people going crazy over Popeyes and the Chick-fil-A sandwich.
The sandwich was crazy, and it wasn't even that
over
fucking
a
good.
sandwich.
They was killing over it, fighting over it.
The fighting over it, and then black people was acting like love that chicken for Popeyes made it black because it was from Louisiana, and Chick-fil-A is the white chicken. So now you ain't black if you eat the Chick-fil-A, you black if you eat the Popeyes. That's the and that's why I brought up Who Cloned Tyrone, because what did they put in there? Chicken, music, and church.
Right. But speaking of
the sandwich, and I'm just gonna speak for the sandwich. They close on Sundays because they good Christians, right? And they white.
They're satanic. That's why they close on Sundays, because that's the worship of the sun god,
Ra.
Yeah.
So sun god.
Yeah.
So you telling me that people that go to church on Sundays
worshiping Ra,
and they don't know?
They don't know.
How is?
Can somebody explain to me what the hell is going on here? Shut up! People are saying that this is a real dragon, allegedly, but it's not. Why does it need so many people to carry it? Something is up. Guys, listen. I don't believe in dinosaurs, but I believe in dragons, guys. Why are these people using dragons at their concerts? What does this have to do with music? Something is going on here with this dragon, bro. It's always dragons. It's always something questionable. Something is going on here, guys, and I'm not sure what this has to do with music. Roro knows. Shut up! Listen, something's going on here, guys, and people are saying that this could possibly be a real dragon, which is not. Let's be serious, guys. Dragons don't exist. But it really makes you think, what's the point of this? What does this have to do with music? What does this have to do with a concert, allegedly? This is what people are saying. If you ask me, this is art. I'm just playing around, guys. Entertainment purposes only. Who cares if they pull out a dragon? It's not a real dragon. Come on, guys. This is entertainment. This is music. You know how it goes. I don't know what's going on at this concert. Let me know if you know what's going on at this concert. I'm out.